What's going on, y'all? Check me out here. I'm currently shooting this on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. I figured why not give a little camera test while we do some tips and tricks, you know, best of both worlds. And I gotta say, it looks good. Now in this video, I do have a couple of different tips and tricks that I wanna talk about, but the very first one is actually within the camera app, and it's auto tracking or auto zoom. So the cool thing about it is that it will trace me on screen, which is great for like tutorial videos and things like that. God, my pockets are just full of everything. So like, especially if I was the type that might be teaching fitness online or something like that, this is to me like the perfect setup. You got this built into your phone. You don't need any additional accessories. And you can see how well it's tracking me. And if you're wondering what's going on back here, I actually had some work done and this is currently in progress, but that's not the focus of the video. So let's talk about how you can enable this. It's really simple. It's accessible on the front and rear facing camera. The way that you're gonna access it is to actually tap the little circle with the arches, I guess, on the corners of it. And that's gonna turn on the auto tracking and zooming feature. And then if you take your S Pen, you can just press the button to start recording and stop recording. This is definitely like one of my favorite features and a testament to why I feel like this phone is the ultimate vlogging camera. Let's get to the rest of the tips and tricks. Let's head up to the office.
All right, now one thing you want to make sure that you don't forget is the S Pen. And they made it easier this year because, you know, it is actually integrated into the phone. But, you know, in the event you do happen to take it out and forget it and leave it behind, there's basically a way for you to get a notification when you lock your screen and it detects that the S Pen is not inside of the phone. So the way to enable this is to access the Air Command menu. Then you're gonna tap the little settings icon here in the bottom left. And we're gonna scroll down until we get to warn if S Pen is left behind. And we're gonna make sure we turn that on. Now, anytime that you lock the phone and it detects that the S Pen isn't inside, you'll get that notification. But if you do want to like actually be able to walk away from your S Pen before you get the alert, you can just turn on the physical activity permission. That way it'll let you get at least a few more feet away from the S Pen before it prompts you. Personally, I like leaving it like this because anytime that it's in there and I lock my phone, I personally want to be notified. Now, something else you can do that I thought was pretty cool is actually add your vaccination card to Samsung Pay so that you have a digital version with you at all times as necessary. So the way that you go about accessing that is to open up Samsung Pay. And you'll see too, now that we're in here, you can actually also add your credit card and debit card, membership cards, as well as gift cards. But if you wanted to add your vaccine card, you're just gonna tap on this option right here and then choose one of these two to go about doing so. So now when you need to access your vaccine card or any of those cards that I mentioned, you can just swipe up from off the screen like this and onto the screen, and it's gonna pull up Samsung Pay for you. And when you tap on home here, this is where you're gonna see everything that we just talked about. Now, one thing I wanna say is like when it comes to the Samsung Pay app, something that I personally noticed when using gestures is that I would accidentally activate it. Like if I'm down here and I'm trying to swipe up, sometimes I would go too far off the screen and pull up Samsung Pay. So if you're the type that kind of wants to turn that off, or at least fine tune it a little bit, when you're in the Samsung Pay app, you can tap on these three lines in the top left and you can go down to settings. And then from within here, just choose quick access. And basically what I'll do here is places that I'm noticing that I'm constantly accidentally activating it, I'll turn it off so that I'm not accessing it through there. So one of my main areas is my home screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. And it just gives a better experience. Now, one thing I really love using with this phone is split screen, but you'll notice sometimes that it doesn't allow you to do all apps in split screen mode. So you can force all apps to be able to open in split screen view by going into your settings. We're gonna go down to advanced features. And then once we're in there, we're gonna select labs and we're gonna make sure we turn on multi-window for all apps. So now you'll notice when we go to Instagram, it's gonna give us the option to open in split screen view. So now I can access Instagram up top and something else down below here. And another quick tip, if you tap right here and you choose this icon right here to the right, it'll save it as an app pair so that when you slide in from the right-hand side here and you pull up your, you know, little, what is it? I can't remember what this is called, your side menu of apps. You'll see the app pair in which you created right here so that when you tap on it, it will always open those two apps together. I don't know why I cannot remember what that is called. And with this being such a large phone, you're definitely gonna want the option to be able to use it more comfortably with one hand. And thankfully they have a setting in here called One-Handed Mode that gives you that. So the way to enable it is to go into your settings. We're gonna go to advanced features. and then we're gonna turn on one-handed mode. Now when you tap on it here, this lets you choose how you access it, and based on your current settings for your like navigation bar, and being that mine is gestures, I just have to swipe down right here in the center. So find that you can even come in here and reposition it or resize it. Now something else that's worth knowing is that you can pin windows. So to me, this is really handy when you're handing your phone off to somebody to use and you don't want them going anywhere else on your phone other than where they are currently at on your phone. Perfect for kids and perfect for nosy people. So the first thing you have to do is turn on the pin window option. And we're gonna do that by going into our settings. We're gonna go to biometrics and security, and we're gonna go down to other security settings. And then we're gonna turn on pin window. So now when I go into my multitask switcher and I tap on an app icon here, I can tell it to pin this app. And to unpin it, it says I just have to swipe up and hold. So I'm gonna say okay. But now, no one can get anywhere else other than here. And while we're talking about kids, did you know that in your quick panel, you have an option to basically launch like a kid zone, which is a safe space to pretty much hand your phone off for a child to play different games or just keep busy in general. So the way to access that is once you're in your quick panel, you're gonna tap on the three dots here and we're gonna choose edit buttons, and then we're gonna find kids. If it's not already down there, this is how you get it there. And we're gonna swipe to where we want it to go and then drag and drop it. And then we can select done and quick launch it at any time in which you need. I love that because then you don't have to like hunt for an app. You just pull down your shade, tap the button, hand the phone off, and you're good. And if you're worried about them navigating away from the app, you can set a pin so that the only way they can exit out of the kid zone is to type this in. They even have their own camera apps, and they actually have their own gallery as well in here, so you can go back and look at the photos. Now this next one is really useful, especially when it comes to customizing your phone, because it lets you select more than one app and move it to another home screen. So the way that you can do it is to actually just long press on any app, and then we're gonna choose select. And then you can tap not just on apps, but folders as well, and highlight what you wanna move, then just long press, it collects everything, and you drag it, and you drop it to where you want it to go. Now, I'm not sure how many of you know, but you do have an option to adjust your video brightness so that when you're watching videos in particular, it'll basically brighten up your screen. Now, the way that you can do this is to go into your settings. And once we're in here, we're just gonna go ahead and search for video brightness, tap on it, and then we're gonna tap on it down here at the bottom and enable bright. And you'll notice that when I did that, it did give me different apps that I could basically toggle on and off that I want to have a brighter video in. Now, something that I was excited to see is the fact that we can now pretty much use the full max screen resolution up here and also take advantage of the adaptive refresh rate, because that's not something we could always do. So if you want to enable those things, you can just go into your settings and we're going to go to display, and we're just going to make sure that motion smoothness is on adaptive. That way we can enjoy that 120 hertz refresh rate. And then we're going to go down to screen resolution, and we're going to crank this up to WQHD plus, and we're going to select apply. So now we have the best screen resolution and adaptive refresh rate that we can possibly have running together up here. And while we're in here, I just want to show you something real quick. If you turn off adaptive brightness, you have a setting in here called extra brightness, which is going to increase the maximum brightness. It does use the battery just a little bit more, but this is going to give you a boost up so that you now have basically an extra level of brightness, which I'm sure is very blown out right now, that you can take advantage of. Now, another thing you can do is customize your apps that you access from the bottom left or right of your lock screen, so that it's actually something that you care to access quickly. The way that you can do that is to go into your settings, and then once you're in there, just search for shortcuts. We're gonna navigate down to left shortcut, because this is gonna get us into the menu that we need. And then you can select left shortcut here and choose what app you want to access when you swipe in from the bottom left on your lock screen. So let's say, for instance, I use Instagram all the time. I can make that be accessible from the bottom left, and I can make YouTube be accessible from the bottom right. Okay, so now when I'm on my lock screen, if I swipe in from the left, it's gonna instantly launch Instagram. And if I swipe in from the right, it's gonna instantly launch YouTube. Ooh, that doesn't get any better than that. Now, something else that I like is the always on display. And I love the fact that I can kind of customize it a little bit more with some sort of graphic or something like this. And I was able to do that by going into the Samsung Galaxy store. And this is also where you can customize your themes and just so much more. But the thing that I'm gonna focus on right now is always on display. So once you're in here, we're gonna go to the always on displays category, and then you can just find one that you like. If you want, you can always tap here in the top left and choose if you wanna see paid or free options or just everything all together. In my case, I'm gonna go to free, and I'm gonna swipe through, see if anything else kind of piques my interest. Oh yeah, this is one that I downloaded, which was a jellyfish. So being I already have it, it says apply instead of download. But in your case, you would just tap download and then you would select apply. And I want the clock and the image, so I'm gonna select done. And now when I go to my always on display, I see this beautiful jellyfish. And you know, we're just gonna take it a step further, y'all. So if we hop into our settings and we go to always on display, and you know, I like to search for it just because it's easier sometimes. So I'm gonna tap on always on display, and you can fine tune a lot more. Like for example, I have mine currently set to always show between these times. Or if you want it to not show all the time and you have to tap the screen in order to show it, meaning when I lock my phone, as you can see, I don't see the always on display, but if I tap it, then the always on display will come on. And then to unlock, you know, I gotta swipe up, but you know, that's a bit more steps than I would want. I like to keep mine, you know, a little bit more simple. So I tend to put mine to either show during a scheduled time or to just show for new notifications. But currently mine's is set as scheduled. You can also come in here and choose your clock style in case you want to change the way that looks. You can also turn on the options so that it shows the information for your music on the always on display, which I really like so that I can always quickly adjust my music. So just wanted to show you that, but I do hope this video gave you all some more information and things on what you can do with your new Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now, if you want to see some more tips and tricks or you have one that you want to recommend, please drop it down below in the comment section. I'll be down there for a little bit after the video chatting with you all. And until the next one, as always, thanks for taking the time out to let me tech you out.